welcome to my channel. You should definitely like and subscribe, which is right down here. So first I'm going to ask you if you have any video ideas, any videos you want me to do, please put them down below in the comments and I might do them, but I would very well appreciate it. So let's just get into this video, which by the title you would know it's cast versus boot, differences and similarities. So I'm going to tell you some of the differences between the two and the similarities. Let's just go. We're going to start with the differences. So I got like this. It has all the differences and stuff and similarities. So if I look down, that's what I'm looking at. So for the cast, it is light. It's fairly light, so when you pick up your foot, it's not going to be that heavy. I mean, yes, it's going to be heavier than your foot really is without the cast, but compared to the boot, it is very light, and it's a lot more form-fitting. As for the boot, it's heavier because it has more fabric, and it's not only fabric, there's also plastic involved. So all of that is more weight than just the fabric that's put into the cast. If you want to see how a cast is made and what you go through to get the cast or the cast removal, I have a video of all of that and I will put it down below. Anyways, next difference would have to be for a cast, you could pick your color. So like your cast can be pretty, I guess, because my cast color is blue, or at least that's what it was. I'm in a boot now, but since I got to pick that, there's also like pink, purple, all of that, camouflage I think there is somewhere out there. So there's a lot of interesting ones. As a boot, it only comes in either black or gray. You don't get to choose. Your doctor is just gonna give you one. Also, people can sign your cast or draw on it, so there could be designs on a cast. As for a boot, it's just one color. It's gonna be black or gray, like I just said. There's nothing you could do, so there's no decoration whatsoever, sadly. Yeah, so next, baths. So when you're in a cast, baths, like showering and stuff, is so difficult. Or if not difficult, very annoying, to be honest. There's different ways you could take a bath. So some people like to just wash their hair in the sink and then sponge bathe, which it's sort of easier, I guess. But the way I did it, I don't know why, I have an itch right here on my nose. Yeah, okay. But the way I did it, I put a garbage bag on my cast. And when I put the garbage bag on, I would sit in the tub with my foot hanging out because you can't get the cast wet. If you get it wet, you have to go back to the orthopedic and get a new cast put on. But if it does get a little damp, I would suggest taking a blow dryer and blow drying it, so as soon as possible. As for a boot, you could just take it off, and at first when you get a boot, you probably won't be able to stand, so you take a bath, but you could get your foot wet and the incision wet. If you got a surgery, there would be an incision. If you just broke a bone, well, there's no incision, it's okay to get it wet. As it goes on, as you make progress and you could stand, you could take a shower, and it's just a lot easier to move around, and overall it's just easier. A cast becomes loose over time, so that is why you will have to change your cast 2 to 3 times. Me, I changed my cast 2 times, which I did videos for each time I changed my cast, which will also be down below in the description. I think it's like what did I do? I did splint off, cast on, and then stitches out and cast on. I think, yeah, those are what it's called, but there'll be a link down in the description. So it becomes loose because after your surgery or after you break a bone or do something that you need a cast for, there's going to be swelling, inflammation. So it's going to be puffy, basically. So when it's puffy, your foot is clearly bigger. So since your foot's bigger, they're gonna put it on tightly to that shape. But the inflammation is then going to go down, the swelling's gonna go down, and that's going to make the cast loose. And when the cast is loose, it becomes pushing pressure onto your foot. And that's how I got a bruise on mine, because it got really loose and it started, like, if this is my foot, where the cast ended, it started like pushing. Every time I lifted my foot, the cast would like push down against this, and so I had like a bruise across my foot like this. Yeah, I had a lot of bruising on my foot actually, which you can all see. But yeah, so it becomes loose, and that's why you have to change it, because then you'll go back to the orthopedic and they'll refit the cast to your foot. As for a boot, you could resize it. So a boot, let me show you here. With a boot, there are like Velcros and stuff, so you could just pull and resize it. As the swelling and inflammation goes down, you could keep resizing it to the size you need. Don't make it too tight, or else you'll cut off your circulation and your foot will go all numb and tingly, and you don't want that. That's bad. But don't do it too loose where your ankle moves around everywhere in there. It's a happy medium kind of thing. When you wear it, you'll know the difference. Just go with your gut feeling. Go, if it hurts, then loosen it. If it's too loose and you're moving around everywhere, then tighten it a little bit. You'll sort of figure out the size you want as you go on. A cast. Clearly you're not going to put any pressure on a cast unless they give you a boot thing for your cast to walk on, which they didn't for me. So you don't really have to worry about unevenness of the two feet. But as a boot, there is your foot that has the boot on it is going to be higher than the foot that you don't have the boot on. So I would definitely recommend wearing a shoe with your the foot that doesn't have the boot, because then it'll push. So right now, if this is just my foot that doesn't have the boot on, it'll be down here. As if I have the boot on this foot, then it'll be a little higher. So your hips would then be like that. And that's not good, because that could reposition your hips and you'll have to get them repositioned at like a chiropractor. So if you put a shoe, it's going to go up a little bit. It's not going to be completely even unless you like get a shoe that is exactly the same height, but it will be better for your posture, and your lower back and your hips won't hurt as much. I go to a chiropractor for my hips because they have to like reset them, because my hips are always uneven. Since the boot is higher than my actual foot. I don't wear a shoe everywhere, where I should probably do that, but you know, whatever. Another thing for differences would have to be that clothing. It would be clothing, yeah. So when you're in a cast, not a lot of things fit over it. You can't wear leggings or jeans. So it's mostly just sweatpants. Or you could wear like dresses or shorts. But I mean, if it's winter, you're not going to wear shorts, and most likely you're not going to wear a dress. So it's you're very limited on options. As for a boot, you put your boot over your pants. So you could wear leggings, jeans, sweatpants, shorts, skirts, dresses. You have a whole variety to pick from. There's no really limit to it. So, I mean, that's a pro for the boot, I would have to say. Now we're on to similarities. Some similarities is a boot and a cast can both be very itchy, especially a cast. There's itchy with a boot is definitely better because you could take off the boot and itch it. But if it is on your incision, if you got a surgery and the itching is on your incision, do not scratch it, please, because we do not want to open up that incision and then you have to go back to the doctors for them to sew it back up, and you just don't want that to happen. As for a cast, you can't really do anything about it. And you're not supposed to put a ruler or anything down your cast because it could get stuck and it can make your skin even more irritated than it already is. So it's a bad idea to do that. I know a lot of people do that, but you're not supposed to. So there's a couple tricks. Okay, I'm gonna sound really smart right now. Basically, you could trick yourself into believing you're not having an itch. Because your brain is weird like that. So here's a couple tricks for you to try. I usually either tapped it at the spot where it itches to sort of trick my brain into thinking I itched it, or you could take a blow dryer, put it on cool, and blow dry it down and up your cast. It sort of gives you a relief in a way. It could help. Another way is you just totally start doing something different. You try, because the more you focus on the itchier it's gonna get. If you take your focus off it completely, then the itch is gonna go away by itself, like it was never there. Psychology, people. I paid attention. Also, it could get hot in a boot and a cast. So the way to fix this is, again, just take a blow dryer, put it on cool, and blow it up and down your cast. As for a boot, you can take off your boots, so just air your foot out a little bit in your leg, and it'll cool down, and then you can put it right back on. Pretty easy fix there. And last but not least, a similarity is crutches. You will be on crutches, such as these beauties. I don't know what I just did that for. Oh well. Oh, it's gonna fall. We good. So, you'll be on crutches for a cast, clearly, because you can't put any weight on it. You would also be on crutches with no weight bearing for a boot for the first week or two, depends on what your doctor says. Also, then you would go from non-weight bearing to partial weight bearing to full weight bearing. So with both a cast and boot, you're going to need crutches. Make sure, please, people, it is bad. You, under your armpit, right, like about here, I think, is a pressure point. So you don't want your crutch to push up on your armpit. You're supposed to hold yourself up with these two strong arms, people. Hold your body weight up. Those are sort of for precaution in a way, to if you start to fall, then you could sort of just clench your arms and hopefully you don't fall. I've had a couple times where I fell. My friend said the very first time I used crutches, I looked like Bambi first trying the walk. So may have fell backwards about 2 times, but we don't talk about that. So that's all with this video. Please like and subscribe. I hope you liked it. Leave comments below. I will gladly answer questions, and I like hearing feedback. So love you. Bye.